know we doing.
Y'all know it takes a special track to do this. I'm on my P's and Q's, dripping sauce. It's just the fluid, it's the chef. I'm here to remind y'all I'm sick with it. My name is stuff that's hot, it's ubiquitous. Meaning it's one and the same, simple and plain. I'm all about my paper, the bacon, cheddar, and pain. I got these lanes running for the border. The talented Mr. Porter, keep it flowing like it's water. But here we go, there we go, creeping to a low speed. Is it him and his friend sitting in the nosebleeds? Play it cool, he ain't special just cause he's on TV. Everybody's hands up, acting like they know we.
Welcome to another episode of the Taste Music Hear Food podcast show. I am your host, Ed Porter, and this is the destination for food, music, and culture and how they all connect. Today, we have a very, very special guest in the building today, and I'm just ecstatic to have him here. So I'm going to give him his flowers that he so graciously deserves, and I'm going to try to do that with this intro. All right. Today's guest is a man who doesn't just move through a city, he runs it, literally and politically. From marathon podiums to mayoral briefings, he is the rare kind of public servant who blends athletic hustle, legal muscle, and a deep respect for community and culture. He's led Minneapolis through moments of historic transformation, from civil unrest to charter reform, all while raising a family, dodging Twitter wars, and trying to make space for justice, joy, and juicy Lucy's. But behind the title and the headlines is a man raised on movement, the son of ballet dancers, shaped by rhythm and discipline, now navigating a city rich in music, food, and complex identities. Please welcome to the show, Mayor Jacob Frey.
We are going to forever cancel the introductions that I normally get and use that one. Because that was about as cool as it gets. Chef, I'm so honored to be here.
Thank you for being here. Now, honestly, it's this is I know, right? Yeah. We had a little briefing about don't worry about it. You'll see if you go and watch. I mean, I'm horrible, so you can't be as worse, as bad as I am. But again, thank you for being here. And so let's jump right in. So I dive into all things Jacob Frey to do this, but
clearly,
and there is, you said on many occasions that, marathons and running brought you to the city. But like we just talked about my happenstance, what made you stay? What made you decide to be the person that was going to fight for the city of Minneapolis?
Well, either we were born here or we've come here for a variety of different reasons. Right. My first time in Minneapolis was to run the Twin Cities Marathon. I was a very serious distance runner. I was using money that I got from running these marathons to help pay for living expenses while I was going through law school. And I remember running the Twin Cities Marathon. I was around like mile 15. And I remember thinking to myself, my God, this is like this beautiful city in a park. I could totally see myself living here. And then lo and behold, I qualified for the Pan American Games. I was racing down there. And I met a girl on the way from the Olympic Village over to the training facility. I get talking to her, and she says, my dad is an attorney out in Minneapolis. And at the time, I was looking for jobs. So I said, why don't you give me your dad's number? And I got her number too, but nothing ever came of that. People always assume that I'm going down that route. But I got her dad's number. I got an interview. I got a job. It was the best offer that I had gotten. And I moved out to Minneapolis, and started my life here. And now once you get here, it's a very different vibe from the East Coast. Yeah. And while there are extraordinary things about Minneapolis when you first move here, we can be real. There are also difficult parts as well.
Absolutely.
You're at a bar on the East Coast. The regular thing to do is to introduce yourself to the person next to you and get to know them in the immediacy. That is not as normal thing to do here. People kind of question it, right? No. But once you break through that, you find these incredible people. You find these spectacular communities. And there's just this special kind of vibe and mentality here that gets you to stay. I met my wife here. Mm-hmm. We have a 4.5-year-old kid. We're going to have another one any minute. Might need to run out of this podcast to, head over to the hospital. But I love it. I'm
She's
gonna
gonna be
here all
born
my
closer
life.
to your birthday, though.
Is
Like,
that what you think?
yeah, I think like dead on your birthday.
Dead on to
Like
23rd.
23rd.
That's
Yeah.
well. She'll
Yeah,
be
she'll
a
be, yeah.
Leo then too, right?
Oh, I
Yeah.
have two in my life.
Is
So,
that
yeah.
right?
I know, but I'm a
Yeah.
Scorpio, so
Yes.
it's a thing. I would say, and you came when the weather was nice, so you kind of got hoodwinked a little bit. So,
Yeah.
so I came in December 18th, 1998. I remember like it was yesterday.
Yes.
This
How was it on that first day?
It was so cold and so quiet
Mm.
that you could hear the electricity on Hennepin Avenue. So my first place that I lived, it was on 1150 Hennepin Avenue.
Yeah.
And which was all the rage
Yeah.
at the time in the cities. But I just remember it being so cold.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, this is so, and I came here on my New York salary too.
Right.
So like everything was like a quarter the price. I'm
For
like,
sure.
I love it.
You're thrilled.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Yeah.
love it. Yeah, like this was good.
You're not in the Bronx anymore.
No, I lived on the 16th floor. I had neighbors that worked at all the local strip clubs. It was great. I was 21. It was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
But then like the art scene here was what really did it for me.
Right.
That's what did that, like where we are right now, where we're filming at, this corner here, northeast, there's like 5 or 6 James Beard Award winning restaurants
right here. No,
right
it's
around
ridiculous. I mean,
it's insane.
13th Avenue is one of the most magical streets
Absolutely.
in the whole city.
Absolutely.
I mean, and as you walk by, whether you're at the Ritz or you're at, 331 or you go a little further down, you've got all these James Beard chefs. It's really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. You're the son of ballet dancers.
Yeah.
So anybody that knows anything, so being in New York, I have tons of friends that went to, all of the major schools,
Oh, yeah.
and the discipline that it takes to be an elite, or even trying to get into that world of being a ballet dancer takes a significant amount of focus and discipline. How has, I know that spilled off into you as, when they were rearing you as a child, how has that benefited you into, doing what you do now? First as a lawyer, but then as a public servant.
Well, I'm probably the only non-artist in my family. My parents were both professional modern ballet dancers. My mom grew up in Queens, in New York City. She went to the High School of Dance and Performing
I
Arts.
I loved you. See, that's this.
Went to LaGuardia. She went to the High
LaGuardia.
School where fame
That's fame,
was about, and met my dad while he was on stage and she was in the audience. And they've got this beautiful story. They moved in with each other like a week later or something like that.
It's very New York.
Been together.
It's a very New York thing to do.
They've been together ever since. And actually, they're moving out here like next month. So
Wow.
big shift here. Big shift.
Huge shift.
And they initially kind of had me dabble in dance, but it never really took. You learn the basics, first position, second position kind of stuff. But I was more interested in running. But clearly, there's a very intense discipline in the area of dance, and some of it emanates artistically. And for whatever reason, I didn't go down that route. My brother and sister did. Other forms are, my mom and dad, very intense about posture, and form and grace, like how you move physically. Right. I remember, bringing a girlfriend home or something, brilliant girl, beautiful, smart, kind, all that. My mom's like, oh, but did you see her posture?
Frumpy.
Just intense about it, And so just, of course, you take things, you learn things from you grow up. Everything I am because of my mom, and everything I want to be is my dad.
Yeah, so I take from that intentionality. So it's one thing that, to have that level of discipline, your parents had a strong sense of intention to everything they do.
Absolutely.
That bodes well, and it plays in every walk of life. All right, before we get too deep in, we're going to play a little game.
Yes.
Called This or That. Okay? And so because I got a couple of years on you, but we are in the same ballpark. And because we're both East Coasters, we're going to play a little game called This or That. It's going to be in the 90s snack food edition.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Okay.
All right.
So we're not doing like Biggie, Tupac kind of stuff.
We'll get to that too. We're going to do all of that. So
right.
little background about the show. So this show, in my humble opinion, I believe that the arts, mainly food, and music are the two
Yeah.
most powerful universal languages on the
Yeah,
planet.
that's
I've been all over the world, and I can talk to anybody about food, and I can appreciate
Yeah.
anybody's culture from eating the food,
Yes.
having a reverence for the people that created the food,
Right.
and experiencing the music.
I
Right?
love that.
It's
I love
the
that.
best way to dive into any
Without a
culture.
doubt. Yeah.
And you can't have biases when you have a reverence for a person and
Right.
something they created.
That's right.
It's going to be I think, the catalyst to help, eradicate all of this BS and
That's
minutia.
right. I couldn't agree more.
Okay, but in this one, we're gonna go with here we go. All right, so Little Debbie's zebra cakes
Oh my
or
God.
Hostess honey buns. Don't worry about the
Oh
jumbo.
my
Don't do the jumbo. You
God.
don't look like a
Yeah.
jumbo guy.
Yeah.
So
Hostess honey bun. No
Hostess
question.
honey bun.
No question.
No questions. When's the last time you had one of those?
It's been at least a decade. You know, I mean, it was Hostess, but then you got Little Debbie.
Yep. Yep.
And so there was a whole series of them. You get them on the East Coast. You get them at a 7-Eleven.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
With the Slurpee.
I used to go to the Hostess thrift store. So they had like a bakery depots.
Okay.
And it was like,
you went to a Hostess outlet?
Yeah, it was around the corner from my house. And we bought our bread from there when it wasn't Wonder.
Wow.
If it wasn't Wonder, we was getting Hostess bread.
Yeah, Hostess
and then
bread.
all of the
Right.
snacks, the Hostess, the Suzy Q's, you name it, we was getting them like by the
Really?
box load. It was
Really?
super duper healthy. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
thanks, Mom.
Wonder bread. You do the Wonder bread.
Yeah, you gotta have
Yeah,
Wonder
yeah.
bread or Home Pride. Those are East Coast breads.
Okay, well they are East Coast breads, so that was a very Wonder bread. Jews don't get Wonder bread.
You know.
You know, there are many similarities between
Yes.
blacks and Jews.
Yeah.
And Wonder bread is not one of
Wonder
them.
bread is not
I
one
thought
of
that
them.
was more of a Gentile thing,
Yeah.
but I guess
No.
everybody.
Well,
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
in New York, so
Yeah,
I mean, most
sure.
of my friends. You know how many bat mitzvahs I've been to?
Yeah,
Like,
you've been to all of them.
Yeah.
I know, yeah, that's right. You probably more than I was.
Yeah,
more than I've been
and
to.
my daughter's Jewish.
Is that right?
Mhm.
There you go. You know well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So, all right, Crybabies. Those are gums and Now and Laters. I don't care what flavor.
Now and laters are disgusting.
So, all right. So let's okay.
So
And we gotta pronounce them.
It's definitely crybabies, but now and laters are like gross starbursts that are hard and you can't really bite into them and they get stuck in your teeth for the next 5 hours.
Here's a
I
little.
mean, you'll be eating a chicken sandwich the next day and you're
This is
still
true.
tasting crap now
I'll give
and
you.
later.
I'll give you the trick.
Yeah.
So if you get like the apple, the sour apple, or
Okay.
the watermelon ones, if you should so happen to leave it in your pocket,
Oh, really?
little body warmth. They're chewy now.
Suddenly it's a
They're chewy now.
starburst?
Now they're chewy. So now they went to start making chewy now that as well.
Yeah.
And they're called now and laters. Nobody.
Oh, I never thought about that.
It's called now and laters.
And laters.
Yeah.
It's the later that you got to go to because the now is disgusting.
now it is. And nobody ever says the end in it anyway.
Yeah.
So okay, so Crybaby gums. For
And
you.
it's a lie. It says now and later says chewy.
So they do have chewy ones now.
Do they really?
They do. Yeah.
Okay. I
They
mean,
figured
that
out. They
seems like
took
a
out the
blatant lie.
maturation
Yeah,
process. They
right.
they sped it up.
Yeah,
for us.
rather than chewy, they should have said mortar.
All right, let's go next. Okay, are you a soda guy?
I'm
I'm
not a
not.
soda guy.
Have you ever been?
I like a good root beer.
Oh, I'm a root beer guy too. What's your
Yeah.
favorite root beer?
I mean, the classic is like A&W, but it is pretty damn. I know it's simple, and I don't like Barks all that
Okay.
much. It's
Yeah,
got the
that's-
bite.
Barks
You know
Barks is
what? I
trash.
had what was it called?
1919.
1919 the other day, which was flat out
1919 is-
excellent.
1919 is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my favorite root beer of all time is Virgil's.
I don't know if I've ever had that.
So-
one. What'd you call it?
Virgil's.
Virgil's.
I'll send you some.
Okay.
So the logo
Hmm.
is the Last Supper in the clouds, drinking root beer.
wow.
That's how good this root beer is.
That is a good
It's,
logo.
it's delicious.
Yeah.
All right, so Faygo Red Pop or Tahitian Treat, which is to me the quintessential East Coast. It says fruit punch, but it doesn't taste like fruit punch.
Yeah, I've seen Tahitian Treat. I don't think I've ever had it before. Definitely never had Faygo.
Faygo, especially the Red Pop, because it's not
Okay,
a flavor. It's just there's a picture of a strawberry on there, but it definitely doesn't taste like strawberries.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the Apple Jacks, the apple in the Apple Jacks. There's no
Right.
apple in there.
Right.
Or saw cinnamon, but this
It's red
is just
flavor.
red number 40.
It's red flavor. Okay, sure. Yeah.
This is so if you had to pick
At the moment, I'm going the punch. I'm going the
Tahitian
Tahitian
Treat.
Yeah.
Fun fact: Tahitian Treat was made by Canada Dry.
Really?
Yeah. So if you find a label that has a Canada Dry logo on it, that's worth big money.
Just you have that has a logo on it. Really?
Yeah, so
Okay,
like
all right,
because they took the logo, the Canada Dry
Okay.
logo off of the bottle, like
right,
probably the early '70s, like
Yeah.
when cans were still made out of tin.
right,
So and they were flat. Remember when cans were flat? Anyway.
yes,
So
yeah.
if you find one of those,
Okay.
and I
will-
learned that by looking up all this stuff because I was like, I got to find one now. This is my hunt.
My memory about Canada Dry, or specifically ginger ale,
Mhm.
was that on the rare occasion we get to go on a plane, I got ginger ale. Like for some reason, my mom would say, "Okay, now you can have a ginger ale." I thought it was like a special treat. Now I think, "What ginger ale?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ginger, just in the black community, ginger ale was medicine.
Well,
Like
yeah.
you use ginger ale for everything.
Well, yeah.
Even though
when you aren't feeling that was
guess what?
actually a thing in the juice community too. Ginger
Yes.
ale, you have it when you're sick. Absolutely, you
It's-
have it when you're not
there's
feeling well. It's
very
good
little
for your
ginger
for an
in
upset stomach for sure. Ginger ale, that's right.
it's
That's crazy.
it's very little ginger.
Yeah. Well, ginger ale, little tussin.
Get a little tussin, little yeah, and some and you got to put some Vicks on, head to toe, and then that cures all.
Yeah,
All right, next. Hot fries. Do you remember hot fries?
I do remember.
Okay,
hot fries. No, this is easy too.
And then
Yeah.
and then Utz. So that's so okay. So as soon as you passed Jersey,
hmm
Utz is a thing.
Yes, that's right.
So which one?
It's
Are you going
Utz.
to?
It's Utz all the way, without a doubt.
Is it the crab
Yeah.
flavor?
I don't know. I never did the crab
So that's
flavor.
it's just
I mean,
Old Bay.
It's well, right. Yeah,
It's just
it's fine. I mean, I could do a number of different flavors of Utz, but I mean, I want the kind of Utz that where you put them on a napkin and then you can see through the napkin because there's so much grease on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you're doing it right. If you're gonna eat a chip, clog the arteries.
Yes.
That's what's that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. This Andy Caps thing is okay. Chico sticks or lemon heads.
Oh wow,
Do you remember Chico sticks?
I do. Yeah. It's lemon heads though.
Lemon heads was
Lemon heads.
amazing.
You know, I forgot about them. They don't have those anymore.
So
do
now they don't have them like that anymore. You can
Right.
have them in a box, and they're like the size of the little gobstoppers, little tiny
Right,
ones.
right.
The great thing about the lemon head is that like you had like two treats in one because if you
Yeah.
can chew through that little yellow layer,
Right.
there's a white center
Uh huh.
that
Uh-huh.
we don't know what flavor that is, but let's just say vanilla because it's whatever. Alexander the Grape was a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Producer Gabe talking about Alexander the Grape. That was a great one.
Uh-huh.
Chico sticks. Here's the thing with Chico sticks for me. So Chico stick is actually almost identical to the inside of a Butterfinger, except
Mm-hmm.
it has coconut in it, and that's where they did me wrong. I don't do the coconut.
You don't do
I don't like
love
coconut. I don't like coconut flakes. I like
Okay.
coconut flavor, like
Okay.
dried. Like you ever go to like somebody's crappy Easter party and they
sure.
have like a cake that's covered in coconut.
Right. You
Like,
don't do that.
And no, it just tastes horrible.
Okay. What about like an almond joy?
That's my mother's candy bar. Like
Uh,
you gotta. There's a
mine
certain
too.
age group that comes with
Well,
that.
mine did Mounds.
Mounds? No nuts.
Because she liked the dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to take the bus when I was like 10 from where I lived over to George Mason to try to pretend like I could keep up with the track athletes there. They had the best track runners in like the world at the time. And on the way back, I would get a Mounds candy bar and give it to my mom.
Yeah.
And that was like, I thought I was such a good son.
My mom, I'm enjoying Mounds. That's
Yeah,
her thing. She
that's right.
loves.
Wow.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right, so this has been this or that.
I love
Awesome,
this.
awesome,
That's
awesome.
like pure nostalgia.
Yeah, it really is. So that's those things again. Food
Right.
is the ultimate like unifier. I don't care. Everybody's either you had it, you've seen it, and here's the other trick: none of that stuff's good for you.
Yeah, no. of course.
None of that stuff's good for you. And unfortunately, I had everything on that. Everything that we showed, I've had unfortunately many times
Yeah,
over. So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Let's talk about you being, when you were sworn in 2017, you were the second youngest mayor in Minneapolis history. Did you know that?
Yeah, I had heard that.
Yeah.
I'm not
Al
sure if it's
Hofstede.
second or third.
No, second.
Al Hofstede was definitely younger than me.
Yeah,
But,
so, no,
wow,
he was second.
Yeah,
For sure the second. And you were 36, right?
I believe so.
And he was 34. He had you about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Up in there, you wouldn't know this now, but in my career, I was always the youngest person in the kitchen. And then I got to a point to where I got to be in charge. I was the executive chef. I was
Right.
the head chef, and I was still the youngest. And
When did you become a head chef? How
my
old were
first
you?
head chef job was at 18.
Wow.
And
As
that,
a head chef.
yeah, so this happened.
When were
I
you
kind of got
when were
thrown
you
into the
laying
fire.
out plates that were actually served? I mean, when were you actually cooking, not as a prep chef, but
Hmm.
like actually cooking up the plates that were served out?
Oh yeah, that like 18, 17, 18.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, 17,
Yeah.
18. And it was just so, and again, I didn't really get serious about food
Mm,
to probably, I want to say about 20.
really?
So it was just, I got into food to pay for studio time.
Right.
So
I
it
got
was,
into food to pay for rent. I mean, I was a server. I was a
mhm,
prep chef for a while.
okay.
I never graduated to doing anything technical or
Yeah.
that taste good.
But you know the grind though.
I
You
knew
know the
the go.
grind.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Slicing green peppers and onions and tomatoes, and I made sausage
Okay.
at a kind of shitty Italian restaurant in
Yeah.
Williamsburg, Virginia, and then I worked in a restaurant in Detroit, north of Detroit, and in DC area. Same idea. Yeah,
Oh, very cool. So, in your when you came on your first term,
yeah.
did you ever deal with any backlash or doubt from constituents sheerly because of your age, you being the youngest?
I did, and I thought it was pretty unfair. And now, in retrospect, there is some naivete, not necessarily because of age, but
Mhm.
just because I was new. Like any
Right.
position, you learn with experience.
Right.
There are lessons that I learned that have made me a better person, a better mayor, a better leader. And yeah, I use those lessons every day. And so while at the time I was really pissed off when I thought that somebody was undermining me because either of my age or
Mhm.
lack of experience, um, there was a bit of truth to it.
Right. Right. And that's not. Here's the thing. I do also believe there's a fine line in there because with youth and just not knowing what you don't know,
Hmm.
there's a lot of innocent hubris that you have and just trying to do the right thing for the right
Of
reasons, right?
course. Yeah.
And so that enthusiasm, I believe, is why you were elected anyway.
Hmm.
So the fact that you'll learn what you need to learn. You'll get that.
Without a doubt.
And
But you
so
got to start with the ideal. And
absolutely,
the idea is that you got to keep those ideals and those values, but then you gain the know how to
absolutely,
get it done.
absolutely, yeah. And this is look, being in public office, anything in the public eye, specifically as a politician, you know, you can please some of the people some of the time. You'll never please all the people all the time. And things, this is one of those things. We're talking about being a comedian. Like everybody thinks they can be a comedian. Everybody's funny. Like, oh, I can tell a joke. Everybody thinks that, governing or or making up policy and trying to be a fair representative for the people is a one size fits all type of thing.
Hmm.
It doesn't work that way.
That's
I
right.
listen. I have 6 kids, right?
Yeah.
My my kids think I'm the most unfair person. First off, the baby's the favorite. Like
Yeah.
she kind of is, but that's not the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
The
Of
point is
course.
the point is this,
He's-
and it's only
I
because
appreciate you got the guts to say
no,
it.
this is really what it is.
Yeah.
So any job that you do for any length of time, you should get better at it.
Of course.
So my son, who was the first, he didn't get the same dad that November got
Oh, right.
because I'm better at it. And hopefully your financial situation changed.
That's
You
true.
you get to be better at it.
Uh-huh.
And you deserve that grace for that.
For
And
sure.
as long as you can remember the mindset and the why you got into it in the first place and just take your experience with you and your know-how, now you're the best of both worlds. But
That's
people
a dead on mentality.
absolutely a lot of people forget that. Um you lead a city that is renowned for its musical history. It's, in my opinion, especially I'm well traveled, very underrated food scene here. And I always ask people this. I mean, Minneapolis
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
is a food mecca, but on the low.
Hmm.
A lot of people just don't know about it. In a powerful arts community, the fine arts sector of the world of any city of any place is usually the first thing that suffers under unrest and the last thing thought about to bring it back to where it was or hopefully make it better. How important do you see the arts as far as the lifeblood and
Oh,
lifeline of a city? How important of a role do you think it plays?
Critical. It's critical to the lifeblood. It's critical to an economic comeback. Artists have long been the impetus and the driving force for progress, for change, and for economic development. And we've seen, I mean, we're sitting in Northeast right now, you know, and so, I mean, look at the history. You had a whole lot of artists that were hanging out in these kind of vacant warehouses in North Loop. And what happened? Well, they made the neighborhood better. A coffee shop pops up, a mural goes in, an area that was particularly kind of gray and bland suddenly has some pop. Next thing you know, the values go up, the rents go through the roof, and they get displaced from some of the neighborhoods that they made wonderful to begin with. And where did they move? They moved to Northeast.
Exactly.
You know, and then what happens?
Say now it's happening here. Yeah.
And so, look, not only are the arts not cut, over this last year that we just passed, we've funded art more and more because we recognize that if we're looking for a big Minneapolis comeback, which by the way is happening, artists are going to be the galvanizing force. And that is the case with paint. That is the case with food, which is also art.
Absolutely.
That is the case with dance. And by the way, we're about to announce some great stuff involving the dance world as well. Because there is we are a mainstay for so many of these different practices in our city. And we often don't give ourselves enough credit for it because we stand out worldwide for our music scene here. There is the Minneapolis sound.
It's why I knew where Minneapolis was.
Of course. I mean, it's Minneapolis sound. It's Prince. It's Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Soul Asylum. You know, there are so many world-class bands and artists that have come right through here. And there are more coming through right now. And so, yes, it's absolutely critical. And I am just excited to see where this next phase brings us.
Yeah. I think another huge thing that I think that your administration has done and is currently doing, aside from funding, there is the fact of serious and true honest support. That's understated. So most people, yes, if you fund certain things, that's good. You get certain things funded, but being supportive and a participant of these events and being seen and just not for the sake of a photo op, but just for the fact of
there, yeah.
Exactly. That's where the rubber meets the road, I believe.
Yes,
for sure.
Right. You're right. You're right. And that is the thing that gets harder, if I'm real honest, at times as mayor, because to just be there and to just experience as a
It's got to be hard. Yeah.
Sometimes it's doable if you can get the right spot and you wear a hat or whatever, and you just kind of be there. Other times it's hard because you get there and you want to, listen to the Diggable Planets performance.
So I was at the show.
Yeah.
She was at. So I learned. I'm like, I was at that show. I didn't bump into the mayor, but that's okay. I'm like, you probably had way better seats than I did, or standing room only.
That's right. That's right. We were at the back and up, but it was which was great seats actually. That was an opportunity where I just got to kind of hang and listen to some nostalgic, old school,
absolutely
beautiful music.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so be honest. What is the coolest, most unexpected perk that was not in any of the drafts? When it comes to being mayor, what is the coolest thing that you found out that one of the perks for being mayor that you didn't know before you was campaigning?
The perks.
I'm gonna go to me. So I would think
I'm gonna think of it while you talk.
I would think, just me being me, like, you gotta I'm pretty sure right now if I called on behalf of you, I can get a seat in any restaurant in the city. I'm pretty sure there's not a restaurant that you can't get a primo. Matter of fact, we should call already booked restaurants just to try it out.
Well, reservations, they get easier even if you're not dropping names or anything. That I will admit that at times you'll say I'd like to get a spot. So of course, what's your name? And that's the first thing. And then so it may happen without me even knowing about it at times. And so that could be perhaps. I'll tell you another one, which is really worldly and kind of cool. And by the way, the political thing to do would just say, oh, the people,
Yeah.
the perk. Of
Yeah.
course, the people are the perk. I'm a very extroverted person. I love people. I love engaging with people. I love talking to people. But that's such an obvious
Right.
political answer. So we have sister cities.
Yep.
Around the world. I think we've got like 12 of them or something. And I had never been on an official sister city trip. But there is this kind of worldly camaraderie that you have with these sister cities, and they were set up intentionally back in like the 40s or 50s. I believe it was Eisenhower. And the whole idea was even when two nations are at war, while you might not have a relationship between the federal governments, perhaps the cities would still be a source of humanity, where you're recognizing your opponent as a person, and maybe that would be a source to create peace.
Mhm.
It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
And so we've got, Cuernavaca, Mexico is a sister city in Finland. Kuopio, Finland is a sister city. And Bosaso, Somalia. We got a whole ton of them. And there's kind of this companionship, which is really cool. And if you get a chance to go on a trip and visit, you get to see a city in a very different culture in a way that you'd almost never get to experience, even if you were to go there in normal terms.
Right.
So that's something pretty special.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't know that there were multiple. So like, sister city for San Francisco is. I was just there too. It's in Spain. And how I knew, I was asking questions. So whoever the dictator that was there before, like he just like was picking up landmarks and like build one of those here. So like there's a bridge that looks just like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
He has like, I forgot what the statue is, the Cristo one in Brazil. He has one of those, and and even like the landscape looks a lot like San Francisco.
That's right.
So it's
well, great culture often gets copied.
Very true. Very true. Very true. It's a great point. And it's sort of like the student exchange program, just on like steroids.
Yeah.
Like having the sister cities like that.
Well, it's an interesting topic around, like, I'm going to transition just slightly to culture that is succeeding is copied. And then there's also cultural appropriation,
For sure.
Jews are thrilled usually when their culture gets copied. I remember, bagels, at least outside of New York City, were not really a thing.
Very true.
You didn't have bagel stores everywhere. And I remember in DC, in Northern Virginia, when those first bagel stores started to pop up, I remember my mom said to me something like, "We're winning this thing." There are people that are leaving church and going to grab bagels.
Absolutely.
Now, the bagels were garbage. They were not good. It was like a step above Lender's bagels, but they were boiling them.
They got to import the water. They got to import.
They got to import the water out of from Bagel Oasis. That was their that was their spot in Queens. Or Oasis Bagel. Yeah.
Yeah. Bagels are one of those things. There's nothing like, I tell people all the time, anything that touches the water in New York City is just better. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, the water in New York City is excellent.
Yes.
The water here is very good.
The water here is very good.
Is really good. We are broadly recognized as having some really great water, at least as it applies to Minnesota. We get a guy that works for the city. All he cares about is the taste of the water. He knows if it's a leafy taste, why, and if it's a chlorine taste, why, and then he works to make it better. It's kind of cool.
That is actually, I'm a geek like that. I love that. And you can use that for other things. So as a chef, I would love that. Like, and water tastes completely different. Like it really does have it really does have a taste. For sure, and it's a viscosity too.
Well, New York water is also good for your hair.
Absolutely.
Your hair just feels softer, and
you know what? Me leaving New York is the reason why I'm bald now.
There you go.
Now I'm follically challenged to stayed my ass in New York. I was long and luxurious when I came here.
Long and luxurious.
When I came here,
curls or what?
Yeah, I had curls. When I came here, I was good. And then
Yeah, all of it.
Mississippi River water.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about some of your accolades, because this is it's a tough gig, right? And so anytime that you get a chance to be recognized for some things that it's not so much about the accolade itself, it's more so about what it represents. So the MLK Junior Award, and the first to receive that. Tell me about what that represented for you. Not for the office, just for personally what that meant to you to be the recipient of such a prestigious
That
award.
was a huge deal for me
Yes.
at the time. I think I told everybody. Um, you would not be able to have met me at the time and not hear about that within the first 5 minutes of a conversation.
Rightfully so.
I mean, big head, big ego. I was really honored,
Yeah.
and it was due to I had done a lot of work in support of marriage equality, as we were fighting off a very hateful state constitutional amendment that would have defined marriages between a man and a woman. I was doing work on the north side following that tornado
Mm-hmm.
that had ripped through, providing free legal service for people that had literally lost their homes.
Yeah.
And yeah, to get an award like that, um, I mean, just fully honored and excited, and um, who knows, maybe it wasn't even deserved, but I certainly was thrilled to have gotten it.
Absolutely. No, there's I think that there's a sense of um very it's a realness to an approach when something is authentic and something's just cuz, right?
Yeah.
Like there's going through the motions and then there's showing up and being present, right? And that award, in my personal opinion, is for the person that is showing up. It's not something that, yeah, you did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all the right things. It's the politically correct thing to do, but the the reason for doing it was more so about the people than anything else.
Yeah.
And and then that's just the climate awards, and then there's the historic reforms that are passed. It's a slew of great things that have happened. Um, Rent policy is another great one. So I just think that award to me was sort of like from the people. So I would think it would be a great, especially having MLK's name on it because of what he represented to, the American people. So if you, my point for asking that is because if you didn't receive it that way, I think you should, because that's one of those. It's a very, very
Well, thank you.
good and deep thing. You've been one of those people. The reason why I gravitate towards you, because it's a very East Coast mindset to take, but very steadfast in the face of protesters and adversity, and willing to die on that hill, because of just standing up for what you believe is right, and is the right difficult decision to make at the time. None of these decisions are easy, right? They're all going to be difficult.
Yeah.
There's going to be some people that are not going to be happy, but the goal is to make the best decision for the long term, not for today,
Absolutely.
but down the road.
Absolutely.
And that, to me, I think you do with grace. And I know you get, you've taken some shots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you keep showing up.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, why did you decide to even to run for the third term? Like, what made that something that you had to do? Is
It's to get a job done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our city has been through a whole lot over these last 5 years, and we have faced those challenges head on. We've gone hand in hand with our community members, facing some of the most difficult issues that this world could offer. And our city's coming back. It really is, in fine form. And I want to be able to hand the reins off to the next mayor, with a city that is in excellent shape, that is realizing its potential, and in an office of mayor where that next person has the ability to fully and efficiently run the government on behalf of people. And we've had some major changes over the last several years. major changes that are external, substantive policy changes. We've had an entire shift to the structure of government, which some people don't recognize is arguably the most important thing that I'll ever do as mayor. And I want to make sure that that system is set up for the next person so that they don't need to have some of the fights that I've had.
Right.
They can do it smoothly.
Right. How do you feel, and you kind of touched on this, is why I'm going here, how, you know, the current president's policies or lack of thereof does it make your job here harder or obviously it makes it harder, but how is navigating those things? Because there's when stuff is happening on the federal level and changes to things that have been systematically put in place to benefit us from now until tomorrow, when things are being rolled back, it's got to be super duper frustrating, but it also changes how things are done on the ground here. And I don't think people understand that those decisions that are made in Washington have dire consequences.
We pick up the pieces.
Absolutely.
We are facing some of the decisions that other levels of government don't want to touch with a 20-foot pole. And that's just in general. That's without even Donald Trump in office. Now, with Donald Trump in office, it's not as if these horrible cuts that he's making to healthcare, for instance, for people that need it and can't afford it, will save money. It won't. It just means that cities are going to have to deal with the consequences. Because what happens if someone can't go to the doctor when something is ailing them? It gets worse. And when it gets worse, they might get sick in a way that makes them lose time at work for an extended period. They might lose their job because of it. Because they lose their job, they might not be able to pay the rent or their mortgage. They go homeless. Next thing you know, they've got all sorts of other issues that are associated. And like, we are left to pick up the pieces. And sometimes that means that Hennepin County or our social workers are going out there to do this work, and suddenly they got a whole lot more work to do. Sometimes it's our police that are dealing with the repercussions that go in the way of violence or crime. But the bottom line is we are having to see the consequences of it. And, you know, every time there's a new election, every time a new president comes in, you expect there to be changes, especially if it's a change in party. So absolutely, free and fair election, you expect that. But the kind of things that Trump is doing now is not just about a shift of policy. I am now concerned about the endurance of our republic.
Yeah, sure.
Because when you're questioning a court order, when you are challenging the result of a free and fair election, which of course he did, then the sustenance, the long-term maintenance of our democracy is at risk. And it is right now.
Right.
And anybody who says otherwise, I don't know, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
It's very concerning.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When Frida is old enough to vote, what type of Minnesota or Minneapolis do you want her to inherit?
A loving one. Broadly speaking, it is a kind, loving place. Yeah. And I could expound on that, but like, you know, times change, people change, ideas shift. I want her to live in a place where people treat each other with a common humanity.
Yeah.
They embrace both similarities and differences. They're not taking themselves too seriously where you can't have a laugh. Right. Where it's not so based in the words you're saying, but in the intention behind them. I just see so much potential and hope and love here, especially in the face of all the chaos that's happening nationwide and worldwide. And so I am optimistic. I fully expect her to love to be here when, in fact, she's 18 years old and can vote. Yeah. I don't know what the hell I'm going to be doing. But
To that point, you know, you said again, this is going to be your last term that you run, right? What do you want people to say about the version of Minneapolis that you intend to leave? And what part of yourself do you hope to gain back from stepping away from public office? Because that's going to be a huge shift for you, and probably you'll be able to go to. Well, you probably still won't be able to go to many places. You know, you can't change your face.
The part that you gain back, I think to a certain extent, is there is a very necessary tension in that on any given night you could get woken up at 1 or 2 in the morning to something really bad that just happened. And you know, I know if I'm getting a call at 1 in the morning and it's not from a drunk friend, if it's from our chief,
Right,
or a state official, or my chief of staff, I know that I'm about to hear something really horrid.
right.
Oftentimes it's a little kid that just got killed. Sometimes this was an assassination.
Yeah, that was.
And there is a tension associated with that, a necessary one, where you're prepared to get up and deal with the situation in the immediacy. And you have to deal with it no matter the mental state of mind that you're presently in personally. And so to a certain extent, you almost need to temporarily divorce yourself from that and deal with the issue at hand. And it's hard.
Yeah.
And so to just sleep, and to put down my phone, that's a big one.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to put down my phone for an extended period of time and not worry about what might happen. That would be something super special too, you know, and I'm sure anybody would appreciate that. And at the same time, I love this work. I love this job. I love this city. And it is so fulfilling. And so it's one of those things like running, which is, you know, why I came out here. It's both incredibly difficult and the most fulfilling thing that you could possibly do.
That's well said. Well said. We have some producer Gabe. We have some questions from the audience, I believe.
Yeah, we do. Let's see. So I got. Well, this one's for me. But what's the dumbest thing you've ever done as mayor? if you had a mulligan or whatever,
how
is there
much
something
time do you guys have? Look, I've done I've done so many dumb things.
Hey, join the club.
I think the ones that are just most apparent and coming to mind are instances where I was assuming that people would understand that I was joking around, but maybe the people in the room took it that way.
Those damn jokes again.
The people in the room will take it as that way, but maybe the people online did not take it the same way.
Didn't translate.
And I've come to the assumption that I'm not remotely funny.
You gotta have a staff joke writer. I know a guy. I got a guy.
I always say this, like, I've never texted a woman anything that would sound good at a press conference 10 years later. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't, it's hard to have your jokes put in print, or sarcasm or whatever.
They never read right, that's for sure.
Yes.
Right. So this is from listener Nate Greenlaw. He says, what is the difference between Mayor Frey first term and third term? Like, are you way better?
So much. Look, you maintain the same values. The policy largely has not dramatically shifted. Truthfully, the policy never totally shifts. If you look back at the work that Hubert Humphrey was doing, what was he focused on? He was focused on housing and crime and safety and economic development. It's the same stuff, right? And certainly over time, you bend that arc towards justice. Over time, you make progress. And so not drastic changes in terms of those pieces. there are drastic shifts in my ability to execute on them and carry them out. A big part of mayor is also not just executing a plan, but responding to circumstances that you don't anticipate. That's a huge part of the job.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I said the word pandemic. I don't think anybody said the word pandemic a single time when I was campaigning for my first term in office. To say that we were ill prepared collectively to understand how to deal with a pandemic would be pretty freaking accurate.
Right.
We're not anymore.
Yeah,
we are
yeah,
prepared
yeah.
now. You know, you learn and you adjust. You gain thicker skin. That's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, things used to bother me when I was first elected mayor. They really got to me. You know, people had a misunderstanding about why I did something, or there was an assumption made that I didn't care about someone who I deeply cared for. Yeah, I call you names. Sometimes you get bashed by the exact opposite side for the same thing, but they're
exactly.
they're coming at it from a different perspective. You know, I used to joke with Mayor Carter, you know, the most popular, most likely feedback, numbers 1 and 2 was not enough cops and too many cops. And so, yeah, but over time, you gain that thicker skin. You have more confidence because decisions that used to take the better part of a day now take 10 minutes because you've seen it before. You know how to handle the issue. And yes, I am a dramatically better mayor than I was when I took office. No question in my mind.
Absolutely.
So this is from listener Chris Sealing. He says, let's see. Oh, hang on. Okay. It says, do you remember your first time getting confronted in a restaurant by an angry constituent, or just, you know, I guess anywhere, but first time I assume that happens.
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah. That's gotta be a miserable part of the job. I would think just there's days you just want to be you.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah and I joke about a 19 for 20 rule. In other words, we'll get 19 positive interactions, or at least neutral ones, where someone's asking a fair question. Right. And then if you get much beyond that, much beyond 19, something bad is coming.
Yeah, it's on the horizon.
So first I'll start out by saying, here's the truth. I have no problem at all with people coming up to me and asking me a tough question, or noting something that they don't like. That is fair game. I'm the mayor. I signed up for that. Of course, sometimes I like to have some time with my family where I get to hang out with my wife and my kid. But look, you see me out, you say, hey, I've got a question about this pothole that hasn't been fixed, or the housing that we're waiting on getting built, or whatever issue it may be. That is fair. What I find completely pointless is F you and a drive-by. I don't know whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican. I don't know what you don't like.
That's not constructive?
It's not constructive, because what people don't realize is about half the feedback you get is from one side of the spectrum, and about the other half of the feedback you get is from the other half. Genuinely.
Right.
And so I have no idea. I mean, that's your contribution to the world in that day. That's a pretty pathetic contribution. I would say it would be a very positive contribution. I would say it's a very positive contribution to say, hey, here's something that I have an issue in, and having the courage
that's what
to have a conversation. Have the courage to, and that's always what I will tell people. It's the same thing every time. Hey, you're going to say that? Do you have the courage to have a conversation?
Right. And most people don't.
Oftentimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll give them credit. They do. And maybe sometimes there was a misunderstanding. And now that they realize the full context, they actually agree.
Usually
sometimes someone just wants to be angry, And, again, I'm a mayor, but I'm also a human being.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. So this is mine, and I'm not trying to sound like a weirdo here, but
too late.
One of the things we're finding out, well, that's true. One of the things we're finding out is that there's a lot of blackmail in politics. And I'm not saying but have you ever sensed an
you said
attempt
blackmail or
of
blackmail?
dirty
Is
trick?
it blackmail?
Two words there,
Yeah.
one word.
Okay, so
blackmail, one word.
Yeah.
one word.
One
Okay,
word.
all right, good, all right.
Yeah. Yes.
I
And
was
it's the
like,
only
what city are
blackmail
you
in my
in?
life.
Where is he going with this?
Yeah. No, that there's like political dirty tricks. Have
Oh
you
my
ever
God.
felt like anyone's like been trying to do anything, like set you up for anything or
Can I
sensed
cuss
it?
on this?
You sure can.
Of course.
Fucking constantly.
Yeah.
Really?
Constantly.
Yeah.
What's an example of that?
Oh my God.
That's crazy. I did not
Just
expect
in
you
the
to say
last 2
constantly.
days. I mean, even the last 2 days, there are people that are they're literally trying to get in a fight with me. I'm like, I don't even disagree with you. I don't even know what this fight is about. They are trying to fight when there is no disagreement. We're just trying to get the work done and do a job.
Yeah.
I have had, here's the other frustrating thing. I've had people come into my office, council members, and they'll literally say to me, I know what you're doing is the right thing here, but I'm going to vote against you and come
Oh,
out
God.
against you because I'm scared or I'm worried or I don't want to get torn apart. And I don't give any names out, you know, but like, why are we in these jobs if you know what the right thing is to do, but you won't do it because you're fearful? I mean, I've got certainly many flaws. But if I know what the right thing is to do, I will not back down under pressure.
Right.
And that was harder initially because my skin wasn't as thick. My skin is pretty damn thick now. And I think if there's anything that people can take away from it is, yeah, you want to come at me, but there could be 2,000 people outside my home demanding that I defund the police.
This happened.
And this happened. And I will tell you the truth, which is, yes, we need significant culture shift and real reform. But am I going to defund the police? No. You can shame me. You can spit on me. You can throw things at me. But I won't back down. And now that position is held by virtually every single politician in the Democratic Party.
Yes.
And many are running from the positions that they previously took. Mm-hmm. And in my mind, the quality of that elected official is not necessarily in the position that they took or didn't take, but it's in the fact that you had the courage and the conviction to stand by what was right and the thing you believe to be true.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So before I let you get out of here, we're going to play one more game. It's the lightning round. So in this round, I'm going to give you a word or a phrase. And don't think, just feel. Okay. First thing that pops in your head.
Is dangerous. We talked about one of the stupidest things that you've done.
This might be on the list now. This is going to be on the list now. This is on the list. All right. So, favorite hip hop artist or group?
Diggable Planets.
Diggable Planets. Okay. Spiciest thing you have ever eaten?
I'm sure it's some sort of ghost pepper. I don't know that I've eaten the whole thing, like had a little bite and then my entire face burns off.
What was it in? You just...
I remember actually just having the pepper itself. And I don't remember if it was a ghost or if it was something else, but like I had like a bite of it.
Was it a dare? Or Wednesday?
A dare or a dare?
Yeah.
Mosley?
Yeah.
No, I just remember being like,
are you a pepperhead?
Water and no, I'm not a pepperhead.
So what the hell?
No, I mean, I think I was just messing around when I was like in high school or something like that, and trying to show off and show some
girls were involved.
Show some girl
yeah.
how strong I was.
Hey,
and I never saw her again.
Here's the secret: goes in hot, comes out of hot.
Yeah, right.
All right, so last thing you ordered on Uber Eats.
Oh God, last thing.
And this is not sponsored, so this could be any delivery service.
I mean, because this is so frequent, though.
Yeah,
this is so frequent. Look, love Tea House, Chinese food.
I love I
got a regular order that we hit over there. I try to. I work virtually every night. I try to take Friday nights off,
Okay.
and so oftentimes Sarah will, we hit the couch with the kid. We do Shabbat.
Okay.
Light the candles. We watch a little. Speaking of old school, remember Gummy Bears?
The cartoon.
Bouncing
Okay,
here
listen,
and there
hold
and
on.
everywhere.
That is the best theme song of any cartoon.
Yeah, I know the whole thing.
Yeah, me too.
I promise I will not sing it.
I love.
I mean, speaking of 80s.
I
right?
just watched an episode of Gummy Bears like 2 nights ago. I'm getting my 10-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't know cartoons.
Yeah.
You know.
Gummy Bears, you can still get it. You can still get it on was it an HBO or something like that?
It's on.
No, it's on Disney.
Yes,
it's on Disney.
Disney has
yeah.
it. Oh, I love it. Now it doesn't look as good, but it's still the song still
it's
sounds
brilliant.
Oh,
yeah.
it's great.
Magic
great.
and mystery.
I loved it. Love it. Okay, go to karaoke tracks. Now, since you're singing already.
All right, first thing that comes to mind is Macy Gray. I try to say goodbye and I just.
That's a good one.
For you to sing?
Yeah, that's for him to sing. Yeah, Macy Gray is kind of she's kind of a baritone anyway.
I could do some AC/DC too.
Okay,
this is kind of opposite side of the spectrum of music. But I can nail some AC/DC.
Okay, all right, all right.
Tiffany, I could do Tiffany.
Oh, that's you. That's
hell yeah,
that's a good one. All right, you're hosting a dinner party. You have 3 guests, dead or alive. No politics allowed. Who's at the table?
Give me the rules again.
3 guests, dinner party, dead or alive, no politics allowed. Who's at the table for your dinner party?
Dead or alive, no politics allowed. My wife.
Safe.
Yes. We're about to have a baby.
Yeah.
No politics.
I'm worried that she's gonna call me. So let's maintain that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
This morning, Steve Prefontaine, which you may or may not know about. This is he's a distance runner.
1 minute mile, right?
Yeah. He died in a car crash when he was like 24, 25 or something like that. But has always been a hero of mine. And the third one. The third one would probably be like to get some sort of historic answer that nobody knows yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I got really into this whole concept of did Jesus have kids or not?
That's a deep one.
Jesus had a kid. I want to meet with his kid.
I got to talk to this kid.
Yeah.
I mean, well, technically, they say. I don't know.
What do they say technically? I don't know. You tell me.
That's the whole thing.
Right.
Does he? Now I got to go down that stupid.
I don't know.
Thanks for that. Now I know I'm spending my weekend. Yeah. Gabe, does Jesus have kids?
It's like the Da Vinci Code type stuff. You know what I mean?
don't know about that, but I heard that the Knights Templars have his bones, and they're getting him tested now in the next year.
There you go, and then recreate through DNA.
There we go. Let's make
Jurassic Park with Jesus.
Right.
Oh my God! All right, and finally, Minneapolis in 1 word.
Minneapolis. Oh, you want me to say what would it be?
1 word for Minneapolis.
For me, it's heaven.
Awesome. Okay, before I let you go again, I need you to tell everybody where they can find you and learn about the things you got going on outside of the stuff they see in the headlines. Give them your social because you're active on social.
Oh, yeah.
I follow you, and you post a little bit about everything, which I think is so cool.
I mean, you could follow me on all the platforms and stuff like that. You'll see me at meetings and stuff. I'll tell you, I love talking to people.
Yeah.
If you see me at the bar, come say hello. Ask the question that you've been wanting to ask. As long as you do it with integrity and love, bring it on.
Right.
It could be something that maybe is not so loving, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But come up to me.
Right.
Have a drink with me. Hang out. Have some food. Let's talk about, who you are, where you're from, what you like to do. And I mean, I truly do love people. Mm-hmm. And so, maybe you'll find me over at Cliff and Norm's. You know, maybe you'll find me nearby my home over at Whitey's. I'm there a lot, you know. But regardless, you know, you can learn about stuff online, but that's not a connection.
No, it's not a real connection. What would one thing you could say to all the listeners that you urge them to do to be a better neighbor, a better citizen, just a better human? Like,
you know, a better citizen, a better human being. I would say take a beat to first recognize a person's common humanity, whoever that may be. You know, we're at a time right now where people are villainized based on their background, their race, their sexuality, their gender, their where they're from, their documentation status, especially right
absolutely.
now. And people could use a whole lot of love. And so I think entering a conversation with a willingness to see that person as a human being, no matter who they are, would go a really long way, you know? And that doesn't mean that there's understanding immediately, because oftentimes there's not,
right?
You know? And sometimes that's just based on, again, where you may have come from, you know? Like, I mean, let's just be real. Let's be very real here. You know, we've got a very blue Twin Cities. You got a very red Greater Minnesota and other portions. And look, it's not like everybody from Greater Minnesota is awful. It's not everybody from the Twin Cities is awful. You know, you grow up with having met different people, learning things from different mentalities. And if you can kind of embrace that difference and take the time to understand and not hold somebody accountable for what they don't know yet.
Right.
I think that would go a really long way.
No, that's a great point. I always say that even the most fascist person, most racist person, there's one time for sure every day they're not thinking about segregation. And it's when it comes to their stomach. So many times a day, they're eating foods from people and cultures that they deem to be inferior.
That's a beautiful way of putting it.
And if they placed a face and a name to that dish, they'd have a whole different outlook on it.
That is and there are so many commonalities.
Absolutely. Every culture has a chicken dish. Every culture has a rice dish.
Well, brisket.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a black way of cooking brisket, and there's a Jew way of cooking brisket. There's probably
we just call it the New York way.
The New York way. There's the New York way. And then there's the right way, which is the New York way of cooking brisket.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everywhere else, I don't know. There's water involved. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, and you're 100% right. The things that change are the method of cooking and the objects that are readily available for the area. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's all about substance, and it's the greatest form of reverence and love you can share with a person.
Yes.
And it's one of the few times, 2 times that you have blind faith with a person that you probably never met. When you go to a restaurant and when you board a plane. So you're putting your life into these people's hands, and you're entrusting that their skill set is on a certain level. But yeah.
Well, give me your best bridging of a gap story through food.
I managed a restaurant chain, hotel chain, and we had a Pacific Rim Steakhouse, a part of the hotel. As the lead in that, I knew that optics are important. Now, I trained with one of the top sushi makers in the world. I also know that it just doesn't look good for me to be making the sushi. It just doesn't look good, right? And so I had a moment to where, so I trained.
They're gonna walk out of the restaurant and go to another one where the Japanese guy is making the sushi.
Or the Mexican guy.
Sure.
Or the Latin guy. Somebody just closer in resemblance to what they think.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, sure.
Now, So we had this a customer come up, and he was raving about the sushi, right? And then for some reason, I had one of my servers, a black kid. He had an issue with him, whatever the case may be. And it was basically, he was just very much super duper off putting about inferiority and him being knowledgeable about what he was doing and everything. And so I went up to him. And I saw this happening in real time, and just because I'm also super petty, so I go up to him. I'm like, "Hey, how did you enjoy your meal?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I saw you. There was obviously a misunderstanding you had with the server, but you know, oh yeah, the sushi chef is amazing, amazing man. So I called him, "Hey, come over here. Like, tell him who showed you how to make sushi. I'll tell you. Oh, Chef here is there. He's the guy. You should saw his face.
His face just
because he was reeling about, and even when I approached him and told him who I was, it was still like underling type of vibes. And my whole thing is I'm a firm believer in killing with kindness. Because
that's right.
At you're not gonna alter I'm not gonna change who I am or how I would normally do things because of a response from someone else.
That's right.
There's no greater joy I get than walking away. I just fucked his whole world. His whole world is shattered.
My dad used to call it grinning down the bear.
I like that.
Yeah, killing with kindness, grinning down the bear.
I like that. Well, again, thank you so much for coming by. I owe you an album.
This was fun.
I got you an album coming soon.
I love it.
Again, follow Mayor Jacob Frey. Please follow him. Make sure you go out and get in the polls. Do what you need to do to make this city the best city it possibly can be. I believe this gentleman has all of those things in mind. And we will see you at the polls. And this has been the Taste Music Hear Food Podcast Show. I am Ed Porter. Till later. Peace. I'm on my P's and Q's, dripping sauce. It's just the fluid, it's the chef. I'm here to remind y'all I'm sick with it. My name is stuff that's hot. It's ubiquitous. Meaning it's one and the same, simple and plain. I'm all about my paper, the bacon, killer, the pain. I got these lanes running for the border. The talented Mr. Porter, keep it flowing like it's water.
MBC. No relation to NBC.